Hello everyone. So today we're going to talk about cellular evolution from AMPS to 5G.
As you can see in the image, mobile voice communications has evolved since 1980s, with the analog voice going straight to digital voice, and in the early 2000s, the mobile data was implemented using CDMA. During the following 10 years, uh, 4G was implemented using LTE and LTE Advanced. And right now, we're just waiting for 5G to be deployed. That is going to be 4 times as fast as 4G. Networking and telecommunications will always be one of the core technologies contributing to mankind's evolution. We will most likely still be in an era where technology isn't that as advanced if it wasn't for this technology. The letter G in 4G or 5G stands for generation, and the number is just a representation of the evolution of technology. But let's start from the beginning where it all began. We're going to talk about Advanced Mobile Phone System, or better known as AMPS or 1G. It all began at Bell Labs and with the research conducted at Motorola. It officially introduced in the Americas in October 13 in 1983. In 1979, Nippon Telegraph and Telephone (NTT) in Japan launched the world's first automated cellular network for commercial use. The USA introduced its first 1G network for the Motorola Dynatac cellular phone. It was the first primary analog mobile phone system in the North America through the 1980s and into the early 2000s. As of February 18 of 2018, carriers in the United States were no longer required to support AMPS, and companies have discontinued this service permanently. The network protocol is IS-41. AMPS is a first generation cellular technology. That's the reason why it's called 1G. It separates frequencies or channels, as you might call them, for each conversation. The channel capacity of 30 kilohertz and a frequency band of a range of 834 to 894 megahertz. AMPS was very similar to the older 0G, but used more computing power in order to select frequencies. It employed analog radio signals and remained the telecommunications standard until the advent of 2G. The disadvantages of AMPS is that the coverage was poor and sound quality was low. There was no roaming support between various operators. The analog signal for a large phone size. Different systems operated on different frequencies, which made compatibility between systems difficult. And the calls were not encrypted, so anyone with a radio scanner could drop in on the conversation and listen your private calls or anything that it's important to you or your business. We're going to talk about a more advanced cellular network that is called 2G. This 2G network lasted from the 1980s to 2003, and it was launched under the GSM standard in Finland in 1991. The difference between 1G and 2G is that the phone conversations were digitally encrypted. The transfer speeds were initially only around 9.6 kilobits per second. The operators invested more into new infrastructures such as mobile towers, and by the end of the 2G era, speeds of 40 kilobytes per second were available. I don't know if you guys ever used a 2G phone, but I do. I remember that people could send text messages, or better known as SMS, or picture messages, and MMS, better known as multimedia messages. Everyone on their status bar saw the GSM, which stands for Global Systems and Mobile Communication, and this enabled data transfer on top of voice communication at speeds of 30 to 35 kilobits per second. The good thing about this is that GSM became the global standard for mobile communication operating over 193 countries and territories, and that GSM standard originally described a digital circuit switch network optimized for full duplex voice telephony.
2.5G, basically GPRS or General Packet Radio Services. It operated on the similar technology as GSM with a few refinements. It offered speed that ranged from 56 to 144 kilobits per second. Variations of this standard also supported other services such as multimedia messages, SMS based mobile games, or WAPs. 2.75G Edge or enhanced data rate for GSM. It was introduced in 2003, was somewhat known to be 2.9G, but due to its significant advancements over GPRS and GSM, it offered high speeds of 135 kilobits per second. Although Edge came pre-3G era, the International Telecommunication Union officially defines it as a 3G technology. 3G. 3G was launched by NTT Docomo in 2001. It aimed to standardize the network protocol. Users could access data from any location in the world. Also, it made international roaming services possible for the first time ever. It was widely based on CDMA 2000 and Edge technologies. Transitioning from 2G to 3G was very simple as just switching the SIM cards. 3G. So basically 3G increased data transfer capabilities. So compared to 2G, it was 4 times as faster. Sending, receiving large emails and texts was a possibility. Tasks like simple web browsing, video streaming, video conferencing was also possible, and also it was more secure. 3 3.5G. During this era, the idea was to improve performance over 3G, which used wideband code division access protocol or WCDMA. HSPA, it's a combination of two protocols. The first one is high-speed download link packet access or HSDPA, and high-speed uplink packet access or HSUPA. 3.75G. Here, it was the improvement of the normal HSPA, and it evolved into Evolved High-Speed Packet Access. It also promised transmission rates up to 168 megabits per second for download and 22 megabits for upload, depending on the conditions. These speeds were achieved by multiple input and multiple output, or MIMO, where multiple antennas are used for both receiving and transmitting data.
4G. 4G has the same array of services like 3G, but provide the first true internet broadband data transmission rate. 4G was first released and first commercially deployed in Stockholm, Sweden, and Oslo in Norway in 2009. 4G promised improvement in transmission rate that are over 10 times to the speed of 3G. The coverage of 4G was greatly expanded over the past few years and has become more available in major metropolitan areas and the developed countries. Use the Internet Protocol IP. 4G brings new opportunities for all of us. For example, it brings fast mobility, web access, facility gaming services, make high quality video streaming a reality for millions of customers, HD video and HD video conferencing, cloud computing, mobile devices needed to be specifically designed to support 4G, introduced 4G ready headset, and currently the standard around the globe. 4G LTE long-term evolution. Mobile communication stands for high-speed wireless internet connection for mobile devices and data terminals. However, not all people get 4G LTE services. All depends if it is available at where they live. Even if your carrier is able to provide 4G LTE to you, to take advantage of the speed improvement, the right phone has to be used to one capable of running on 4G LTE. 5G. 5G has been proposed to be the next generation of cellular mobile phone technology. It's been years in the making. It's still in development but not yet available for general use. Many companies began testing 5G products, like, for example, hardware and routers. Others began introducing 5G platform for network. Will likely have a transmission rate of up to 1 to 10 gigabytes per second. Lower power requirements to better support huge number of Internet of Things devices. 5G is expected to be launched in 2020.